Original Sin, Part 4. Exclusively, females once governed the gene pool selection until unfit males became uncomfortable with rejection. Penetration used to be on a woman's terms since she could experience orgasm in the absence of sperm. Because the clitoris can be stimulated without penetration for the female to experience the ultimate sensation over and over and over again. Multiple orgasm ain't never been a sin. So she could foreplay with many men before she chose. And unselected male genes would simply decompose, leaving nothing behind to validate their existence until man created the path of least resistance. Men decided to determine their own fate. Instead of waiting to be selected, they would rule by rape. The obsessive control of the female body to assure reproduction was the beginning of humanity's path to destruction. Men turned females into a product for service while they fought battles and wars for a gene pool metamorphosis. Males in charge of the gene pool forced a lot of change. Male to male relationships were rearranged. Men became paranoid and afraid of each other, so men were forbidden to any longer be lovers. Fear that men would rape men as they did females, homosexuality was outlawed with violators sentenced to death, not just jail. Females were no longer dominant lovers. Instead, submissive sex was passed down to every daughter from her mother. Fathers passed down male superiority to their sons, taught to rule with violence until now we glorify guns. Because survival of the fittest trumps natural selection, now men worry about dying more than rejection. Females keep fighting to resume control over their bodies. The more progress they make, the more killing becomes man's hobby. If men can't control female choice, then they will control her options. So gunning down dark men is the latest in gene pooling adoption. The gene pooling metamorphosis takes no prisoners. Add white supremacy and gene pooling runs on 12 cylinders. Boom, boom, baby, get out of the way. White men are determined to have the last say. They're not committing genocide just out of hate. They're trying to control their gene pool fate. Too many battles lost since 1865, so they have to work hard to keep their gene pool alive. Interracial marriage was the first major threat, females exercising their right to reject. The widespread use of birth control decreased too many odds, so religion determined it forbidden by God. Legalized abortion is still a hot topic of debate because of its potential to seal the gene pool fate. Females controlling their own reproduction forces men to work the other end. They have to create reputations that the available men can't defend, criminalize them, miseducate them, and starve their morality by feeding their greed while they advance the rape culture ideology through religious creed. Place misogyny front and center with Black rappers as the mascot. But when men of color strut their male dominance, then they'll get shot. White men claim they feel threatened, so we call it racism. But you have to understand gene pooling to decode the sexism. There's not a fear of Black men rising. The real fear is the gene pool dying. White men feel threatened on a daily basis as they fear the loss of their gene pool oasis, while men of all races continue to participate and refuse to acknowledge that rape culture is the cause of so much hate. Men of color vying for white man's power with misogyny and homophobia that need to crumble like the Twin Towers, reducing women to bitches and hoes and baby mamas, refusing to protect lovers by simply wearing a condom, misogynistically pursuing intercourse to mark territory, because they refuse to read the whole damn story to know that freedom is intimately connected to the rights of women and gay men. Individual control over sexuality is the only way that gene pooling will end. So instead of participating in rape culture, men must move humanity forward by restoring the gene pool to its natural order. Heal the male dominant obsession with female control. Embrace cooperation to restore the human soul. The human race as a species will survive if men are willing to let gene pooling die, or we can keep fighting and killing each other while humanity implodes and we continue to suffer from this destruction of human spirit. The life force keeps speaking, but we're too deaf to hear it. Listening to the beating drum of this male dominance paradigm shift, men's minds have become numb and their hearts are stiff. But humanity is on edge, so we must change this destructive paradigm soon, before the last man standing is the woman and her womb.